Hello and welcome to the Agency Podcast, Episode 5. We are knocking them out today. I am wearing the same shirt as the last one. That's because we are doing them back to back. We are behind the red mic, and we are live.
I'm excited. You have really fun guests today.
I do actually have fun guests today.
Not that the others haven't been fun. These are just like especially fun.
Well, we have Jen Cameron from Seattle, which is a managing partner of the agency. And she said that she has a very sensual voice, so I'll let y'all judge that.
Oh.
And then we have...
Let's hear it.
Hello, caller.
And then we have Zar Zanganeh.
Zang
Daddy. And he is the managing partner from Las Vegas. And both amazing people, and we're very excited to have them on. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Being in Dallas.
You're both like a fucking big deal. Like let's just be honest.
I mean, just worse by better, but
I
thank
am
you.
a really big
I
fucking
know.
deal.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you should say that. Like you are.
Well, thank you.
Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you like one of the first franchise openings for the agency? Top 10?
I think
15?
we were no. We were number 50, if I'm correct.
Okay.
And
I
that
was
was a year
fed-
ago, and we've doubled.
I was fed bad information by my producer. I apologize, everyone, for that.
I wish I was one of those OGs, but
Wait, how many
thought you were an
offices
OG,
are there?
Cam. I think, what are we at? Over 70 something
no.
at this point?
No,
you
we're
guys,
over 80.
no.
80?
What?
We're
Where
turning
have
these
people
out
been?
now.
We
Yeah.
are 94 and growing.
No, you're
Officially,
kidding me.
we're 80, but we're technically about 100 now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Signed deals.
launching, coming. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, that makes sense.
80 in 11 countries.
Yeah.
According to the press
I'm
release.
actually gonna verify that because I think
Look at you with
it's
your
94.
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Data.
Jen's like,
Data
only the
does
facts
not lie.
today. Only the facts today, people. We have, as far as I know, 70 that are open. But I'm not keeping up with it, just so
Don't
you
ask
know.
Mauricio because he
Mauricio's
won't know.
next, so yeah, we'll talk to him about it. Look, I'd be interested to see what Mauricio knows. Mauricio's gonna be like,
say
"Oh,
12.
I think there's 60."
Yeah, right?
But last night, with the dinner that we had was amazing with the managing partners, and I'm literally like shocked by the amount of amazing people that come in town and come to our opening for the Dallas office. It's just not something that happens in any other brokerages. I just really want to reinforce that in a situation where you go to another brokerage and they open up another office somewhere, I promise you, nobody's coming to it. For us,
You had a lot of people in this office. I was shocked.
I mean, it was arm to arm.
How people crammed
it seemed
in
like
here.
Mr. on a Sunday
It
fun
did.
day.
I was like, God.
We were
Yeah.
at Mr. Mister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw Jen after the dinner, and she said something that just kind of stuck with me. She was like, when you get all the managing partners together, it's just like this magic that you can't explain.
That's 100% correct. And when we looked around the room at one point, when it was like everybody had made it, I'm like just smiling. I'm like, this is amazing. Like the support that we get is second to none. And it's just like, I'm so thankful.
The love and support.
Yes.
There's so much genuine love because I've been with other brands, Jen's been with other brands, where they'll actually pay you to go and nobody wants to go.
Absolutely
Yeah.
And
not.
the fact that all the managing partners and agents come in on their own dime and they want to be here and they enjoy it is unlike any other brand I've ever experienced.
Literally spending thousands of dollars for airfare, hotels, coming into this situation for 2 or 3 days at a time, leaving their business while they're there. It's just amazing.
And
I mean,
they come to support you. They're not coming because they want something from you.
Right.
When we launched, we had people from Hawaii, Toronto, everywhere, right? And I remember like you last night looking and just feeling like, oh my gosh, they're just here to support me. They don't want anything from me.
Exactly.
And they paid their way. But that is the magic of the agency.
It's true. And I've seen Zar at like every opening that I've been to. So this guy is like Mr. Opening staple
great.
for everybody that comes. Jen, I've seen it 3 of them now, and we've only been to 4. So, I mean, this tells you the turnout that everybody comes to is like very consistent, and it's just amazing. So I wanted to talk to you guys just a little bit today because I know that y'all have amazing brokerages And I thought I'd
Damon,
this
turn off your phone.
It's just spam
Wait,
calls.
can I just ask you real quick? How have you felt like the last 24 hours with all these people coming in? I had a friend that came last night with me, and she works for another brokerage, and she was like, "Why are people flying in for this?" And then she came and was like, "I get it now." So how have you felt over the last 24 hours, just with the incredible response, the number of people that come to support this? That really they've taken so much of their time, spent thousands of dollars to come here, buy outfits, schedule glam.
I think my wife Megan said something really great yesterday, where like we had like a moment where we were talking, and she's almost in tears, like just seeing everything that was happening and all the support, and you're just like in awe of it, because it's like nobody has to do this. You don't have to come to an opening just for fun. You don't have to come and support people just for fun. We all have our daily lives going on, and we all have all these different outside of the normal real estate world influences that we have to deal with, and yet so many people have come. I mean, we had people from across the country, Canada,
In another country.
Portugal.
Yeah.
I mean, just like there's so much, and then of course, like you're seeing like all these other agents that aren't even managing partners that just decided to come and see how we opened and see everything that we did, and just thankful.
Well, and this was no small feat for you. Like, this is a huge deal to open this. So this is.
It was, and we'll be paying for it for years.
And it's a lot
An
of work.
agency wedding.
It is.
It is.
Every time it's like an
agency
agency wedding.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
Megan's kind of referred to it. It's like, this is a wedding. You're hosting a
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah. It always feels like a family reunion when we get
Oh, does it,
together.
though? Like, it's seriously
you
like
can't get
that.
enough of these people in this short amount of time, and then we're waiting for like the next opportunity. So to me, this tradition of having these launch parties is so important to our culture, and it gives us a reason to come back together, right?
And love it, because
Well,
like
that's why
everybody.
our network has so many referrals amongst each other, because we genuinely know each other. Like in other brands, you're like, oh, we have an office in Wichita. And you're like, who the fuck wants to go to Wichita?
Yeah.
And you're like, I've never met this person. I don't know who they are. I just know we have an office there, so let me just send a referral. But when a client says, like, I'm going to Dallas, I'm like, oh my God, I know the partners in Dallas. Like, this person's amazing. This agent works in this market. This agent's amazing with condominiums, or this person is amazing in their office at selling in this suburb. And you genuinely know the person, so when you hand your client off to an agent in that city, you feel comfortable and your client feels at ease with it, because they feel the connection that you guys have. And that's from these events that we're always having, and the fact that we are a global brand, but we're small enough where we actually know each other one-on-one.
The other thing that's actually like, I think we haven't even talked about this really. Trey's been on several podcasts with us so far, and this could be his last one, depending on how he does today.
Bye.
No. Of course,
Well,
of course,
we just
that's
had
not
3
true.
people from
but-
Wichita dislike this
Yeah.
podcast.
Just lost 3 listeners there.
Also,
Wichita. Damn it, Wichita. We had a lot of listeners in Wichita. Thank you so much, Zar. But what I was going to say is like, the agency does not hire, in general, agents that just got a license, or agents that were just saying like, I like your brand, I want to come over, and I'm not really doing much production, or I hope that you guys can help scale me. We're really typically hiring people that are doing a decent amount of business and are looking to scale, but they want a good brand behind them. So when you think about the accomplishments that we've had in a short period of time with some of these openings, including us here in Dallas, you get a lot of like shock and awe by some of the other brokerages, because they're like, why are they going over there? But I think once they see the whole package and what we're really bringing to the table, I feel like we're doing an old school version of how brokerages should be run. But somehow, some way, and I could name names, but I'm not going to today, we have strayed away that in a major way. Like a major way, brokerages turned into, this is all about how many agents I can get signed on and how quickly I can get them signed on. And we don't do that. And I think that's a big part of the family atmosphere, and also the way that we run the business on a daily basis. We want agents to come in here and collaborate together. The collaboration between agents that are producing and other agents that are producing, it's open books. Like my team and I, we did $100 million in volume last year, and then the year before that we did 120. And I have agents that come over and on board with us, and they're doing 10, 15 million in volume. I'm giving them every tool that I have. Name somewhere else that does that. Zar, I'm sure you do the exact same thing at your office, and Jen, I'm sure you do the exact same thing at your office. So that to us is like, really, like, why keep anything a secret, or why not work together and make everything better and grow together?
I always say there's no secret. It's not a secret sauce. The fact that so many agents and so many companies hold their cards close to the chest is mind-boggling.
It
to
is.
me.
It's 100%.
Because we have no secrets. The only way to be successful is, in the words of the great Britney Spears, you better work, bitch. Like, you just got to get to work.
When I'm thinking about good quotes, I'm always going to Britney Spears.
Absolutely.
That's literally like,
One of our
what would
best
she do?
philosophers.
Yeah,
out
what
there.
would Britney do? The
Just
other
work.
thing is that, that rule number one,
Yeah.
no assholes, right? That is part of the culture, right? Is we don't just hire anybody. You're here to do business. But also, there's a lot of ego in this business,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, my
and there
God.
is a lot of assholes. They just don't exist at the agency. Or if they do, I think it's a pretty quick correction because you stand out like a sore thumb.
No, true.
Right?
Okay, so that's a question I really want to ask all of you, because there is a community feel in this office, in every office. Are you not worried, but like whenever you're interviewing an agent, is there kind of that sense of like, God, I really hope like later on I don't regret this, and they kind of throw off our company culture?
Yeah.
Is that like a main concern? Because that would, I think for me, it takes one bad apple. I own a business and I'm constantly like, but will you mesh with the rest of my staff kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. So when we're interviewing brokers, one of the things I say is, I'm not here just to serve you. I'm partnering with you. If you give 100%, I'll give 100%. You give 50%, I'm going to give nothing because I don't have that much time. But I have expectations of you in return coming in. And that is, you have to treat my team, Tawny, Alhan, like gold, because you're replaceable, they are not, right? And so you set those expectations up front, but every once in a while you have to make a correction. Maybe you misread something, right? But it's important to weed those people out of your culture because the energy goes up the minute they're gone.
So do you want to know like what I was thinking last night when we were at the managing partner dinner?
I do.
I was sitting next to Mauricio, which I got lucky with that seat. Maybe it was positioned because it was our dinner. Maybe not. I think somebody had to give up their seat actually.
Yeah.
Which I didn't
Well,
request
I
that.
thought we
Stephen
got
made
lucky
me
because we
request
were
that.
sitting next to Megan. So
Yeah.
I
That's
thought
the
I
truth.
was the
I
lucky
know.
one.
You know what? You're right, Zar.
Can we talk
That
about
was-
your beautiful wife and
Oh, I
just
talk about her all the
how
time.
amazing
She's
she
amazing.
is, how hardworking in this incredible office?
I
I've
try not to let
never
all that go
seen
to her
anything
head, though.
like
Like
this.
I'm like, look, you
I
got to
say
come up
let
with
it go to
more.
her head.
Yeah.
You have to keep coming up with more.
I know. I got lucky. I got to sit next to her,
Yeah.
and so I really got to know
she's
her
amazing.
last night.
Honestly, like this would not happen without her. So
So back to what's in your head.
Yeah.
Okay, so
In
last
your
night
head.
I'm sitting next to Mauricio and I'm talking to him about all kinds of things, and we're talking about ego, right? And I literally am sitting next to the guy that's running this gigantic company, doing all these other things. He still makes it to all these launches, absolutely loves people, absolutely loves being around people, still sells what, $300 or $400 million a year in volume? You would never know it with this guy.
Yeah.
Like literally the most down-to-earth dude ever, selling houses like nobody's business, making his entire where does he have a free minute? And yet I could walk up to Mauricio today and be like, let's go have a drink, and he'd be like, yes. Like that kind of guy.
Yeah, and all of us can call him and he answers the phone
Every time.
Every time I text him, he responds right away.
Every time.
I mean, I text him and he's across the globe. He's at home. He's in Aspen. Wherever he is, he responds.
I mean, who has a owner/leader like that? It's just not out there.
People,
starts at the top, though,
people
like-
knew, Mauricio, obviously from reality TV, They don't understand. Like, he is the CEO of the agency.
Right.
That's one of our leaders. He truly gives a shit. And he said that to me, looking me in the eyes one day. I said something to him and he goes, Jen, I truly give a shit. And I said, I know. I know that you do. Thank you for
shows.
giving a shit.
It's true.
But no, he definitely what do they say? Shit trickles down from the top.
I hope
right?
not shit. But
Is that
yeah.
is
Yeah,
it
leadership? Yes.
Like, right,
Leadership,
right?
not shit.
Yeah,
But yes.
yeah, it trickles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
leader-
I
the
said
leader
this,
shit
I think,
trickles
on
down,
stage
I'm telling
last
you.
year at Forum. I was like, this is so awesome that the top producers who sell, $750 million a year, Mauricio, all these guys
Santi.
are right there
Yeah.
and they're approachable because I've been to other conferences from some of the huge brands, and their CEOs and their presidents and the executives are treated like celebrities with no merit.
No.
And they're staying at a different hotel. They have security. You're not able to approach them. And I'm like, I said it last year, I think after a couple of shots with Santi backstage, I was like, their CEO's not even hot. They're ugly. They're frumpy, like 60-year-old white men. Like, nobody wants to fuck them. And we've got Santi, we got Mauricio, we've got all these guys who are amazing. And any agent, like, you can be an agent for 6 weeks at the agency. You can be an admin. You can be an agent who sells $3 million a year, and you can approach them and say, hey, can you help me with this? And they'll sit down for 10 minutes with you and help you solve a problem.
It's true.
There's no other company that does that. Even the crappiest companies I've been associated with would never let you approach a CEO. Like, I think somebody today said, it was Steve Bailey. He was on the panel today saying that he worked at Remax for so many years and he never even met his CEO, which is
absolutely not.
very accurate.
I was literally at the last brokerage. I'm not going to say the name, but the last brokerage that we came from, we had a shell broker. Never knew who they were. Never had a conversation with them. Couldn't even pick them out in a lineup, but I have a broker that I work for that's, this situation for us is like just completely different. We all know exactly who and what we're working with at all times. And the corporate world of America that we're living in now is completely different than what this company is. We make decisions here on a franchise level in-house. We do have support from corporate, but we don't need anything on a daily basis from corporate to function. So we can run our business how we want to run our business. And I love that. Like, it's just a great thing. And for us to continue like moving on down the road and running it how we want, the success is really going to live and die with us also. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. But we have support if we need it. And like you said, if I ever need anything from Mauricio, I'll literally text him with me and Megan on a group. He's like,
yeah, and it's not just him. I mean, like she said, with the leadership trickling down.
That leadership tripling.
It's Rainey, it's Billy, it's
was
our
rough
top
night.
producing agents. It's everybody has that kind of response. I mean, it's a culture of service that we provide at the agency. But also, I mean, I have brokerages in my market that have more agents in one office than we do as an entire corporation with roughly 100 offices, 11 countries. We're still 1,700 agents because the thought of all of us growing in the same way is shared across the board. All of us are picking quality over quantity. There's not one managing partner that says, oh, I just want to charge, a couple $100 to hang your license here and bring in 1,000 agents in my market.
No.
Nobody does that. So I walk into a listing presentation in my market and I feel comfortable telling a client, hey, my agents sell on average 11 times more houses than all the agents in this marketplace.
Yeah.
Because we pick the best agents and that's who we hire. I mean, out of every 15 people or so that ask if they can come work with us, we politely say no thank you to 14 of them and we interview one.
I mean, that's exactly what we've been doing since we opened. We get a lot of agents that love the brand, but have just got their licenses or don't have really any production. And it's hard to say like, no, I'm not interested to like have you come over and join. But we do have a finite amount of seats that we want to fill. And we do have like a real type of brokerage situation that we want, like, without saying too much. Like, I don't want to say we want agents to fit in a box, but we need agents to be in a certain level of production and we need them to have a certain tenure in the industry. We're not set up to be a Keller Williams where you have to train somebody how to put a listing into the MLS. I mean, we're not.
Well, you need commitment. You need dedication.
Right.
You need someone that's hungry for it.
Well, also, they need to learn. They need to run their business without the assistance of like a brokerage 24/7. Like you can give them obviously tools and help, but I can't field calls all day from 100 agents that are like, how do I do this? How do I do that?
You have to be a professional.
It's more
You have
exactly.
a
It's more-
business mindset
Right.
about this business. There's a point that I want to make. I don't think there's another real estate brand out there whose CEO sells real estate. Billy Rose, Mauricio's partner in the agency.
Blair, all of them.
They sell real estate. This is a company of real estate agents focused on selling real estate. We're not out there trying to claim that we're the new tech company or whatever.
Exactly.
everybody has a mindset of a selling broker. So in other brands that I worked for, there's always that hierarchy. There's the CEO over there. I would never just pick up the phone and call him. And he would have no clue what it was like
Of
for
course,
me
'cause
out
they're worried
there
about profitability.
in the field, what I'm doing. These guys understand what it takes today for a real estate broker to be successful because they're doing the work with us.
Right.
Well, we talk about that when we are hiring agents. When agents, I make it a two-way interview. The agent who's considering coming to the agency and we're considering hiring them, they're interviewing me as much as I'm interviewing them. And when the question comes up of why the agency and what's different, I said, well, we are the only brokerage built by agents for agents. Like, our mentality is
That's the
totally
truth.
different. There's none of the other corporations that are all Wall Street brands that are all, or they're 100% companies are built by agents for agents. They're all built to make a profit for the ownership. We are built by agents who were thinking, how could we put more service and provide a better quality and a better work environment for ourselves? And when the founders created the brand, they were thinking of how to make everything that they're missing in other brokerages, make it better and make a better experience for themselves.
I love what you said earlier during the panel about how this is really a marketing company that focuses on real estate. And I think that is so true. I was talking to someone a few weeks ago that's been in the industry a lot longer than me. And he was like, marketing is just not how you connect with people. It's how you get sales. And I was like, I think you couldn't be more wrong. Like, I think
I'm
that's
going
what
to disagree.
Yeah, I think that's what this is all about. I think it's marketing, it's people, it's connection. That's where you grow.
And our PR machine at the agency is unlike any other.
I know.
It is
I
a
love it.
monster.
It is. We've been open in Seattle for 16 months. I've had more PR from the agency than I've had in my entire career at any brand.
You know, it's funny you say that because one of the agents that came over with the team literally said, my team and I do $25 million a year. I was just a number. As soon as I come over here, I'm a rock star. Like, literally. Like, and we're like, because you deserve it. Do you know how many agents in Dallas Fort Worth that do 25 to 30 million a year in volume? It's like 0.1%. I mean, people don't really realize, like, there's some mega agents out there that are ego driven, 300 million a year in volume, but the mass majority of agents are in a 5 million or less volume a year. I mean, the mass majority, 98%.
And in other firms, we touched on this today. Let's say, we won't name names. Other places I've been, the PR opportunities usually go out to like the top few,
The only top
favorites, right?
5.
Here, a PR opportunity comes up and it goes out to the whole company directly in the inbox of the agents. So if they're the first to respond or they have an opportunity, right? So agents in my office will sometimes have something and they'll say, oh, hey, I got featured in this. I responded to PR. I'm like, oh, great. That's amazing, right? Zar nailed it when he said, it takes nothing away from me for you to shine, right? Like, I want your star to shine as bright as mine. I also want to learn from him, from you, from everybody. I've been doing this for 25 years, but things keep changing, right?
All
So
the
we're all
time.
just getting better together.
All the time. And that's exactly what I meant by earlier when we say, like, we're in this together, we're in this to grow together, we're in this to build this together. And when we interview agents here in the office, we're like, we just opened in January. We have 30 agents, but every agent that's being hired is growing this together. Like, this is us. It's not me. It's not Megan. It's us. Like, everybody's doing this together. Everybody's proud of it. Everybody wants to be a part of something. Nobody wants to just be a number at a brokerage that has 700 other agents in that office. Like, who wants to work in that situation? Yeah. I mean, you're going to get treatment for like the agents that have the $100+ million a year volume, but there's about 10 of them, even in a 700 agent brokerage. The rest are everybody below that is going to be somewhere in that $1 million to $20, $30, $40 million. I mean, that's just what it is in real estate. Nobody's. You look at a lot of people's socials online, and they're acting like they're just crushing it. Oh my God, I just sold this house and it's amazing. And you look up their numbers, and they're like, 2.8 million for the year.
Yeah, we're like, you sold that house 8 times 6 months ago.
Yeah. So it's like, it's all smoke and mirrors and a lot of this stuff. But once you really get to like good agents that are trying to build their business and focus on like, I want to scale, even though I'm doing a good business, but I'm not happy where I am. Agency.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like, that's what we want and what we can help with. Don't call me to say that I just got my well, I'm not going to be rude about this, but we're not looking for people to call us that just got their license and we're trying to train them. It's like, there's a huge amount of agents out there that have gotten to the point where their careers are stagnant, and it's stagnant because they're in a brokerage that is not assisting them. And I know that your brokerage is very successful and your brokerage is very successful. And fortunately, we're being successful. But all that comes with a mindset and a way of doing business that's just different out there right now. Like we're in a position right now where the market's slower, so we can spend more time on building our business for 2024.
One of my favorite things, 2 people are coming to mind. I'm not going to say their names, but in my office,
2 people in her office. Y'all better be listening.
One was at a different brokerage, and he came over, and it was like, oh my gosh, he was in this environment where he didn't fit. He didn't look like the brand. He's got so much personality. He's just awesome. Okay, Joey, I love you if you hear this. But watching him come to the agency.
Yeah, no, Joey.
And he just lit up, right? It was like this fit for him, and he's so proud of the brand and has swagger and whatnot. Another one who I think is going to triple his business this year. I didn't know this person based on their social media. It was just sold, just listed, just sold, just listed. And this person, you all know, has just literally embraced the brand, and watching them soar and their production literally go through the roof because they're in an environment that inspires them, that fits them, is the coolest thing.
Isn't that like exactly what we're trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, out of our top 5 agents, 3 of them came from 100% companies. And it was originally hard for them to make that decision. Yeah. But they've all more than doubled their volume since the 1.5 years they've been with me. Well, yeah. They've gone from being $8 to $10 million a year producers to over $20 million a year producers. But that's who is attracted to the brand. People who have an open mind and are willing to change. You have agents who will never change from that business model. And no matter how you try to explain to them, listen, you're not getting 100%. You're getting 100%, but then you're spending 10% marketing. You're spending 20% of your salary with assistants and admin staff. You're spending another 10%. I'm like, at the end of the day, you're keeping maybe 50, 60%. You're not at 100% no matter how you slice it. And they refuse to see that because they get a check and there's a few fees deducted.
And then think about this, right? So every market center that we're in, Seattle, Las Vegas, Dallas, think about somebody who's doing $8 to $10 million a year in volume, and think about somebody who walks into a listing appointment that works at flat fee brokerage versus Zar or Jen or Damon at the agency. Who's going to get that listing?
We always win.
We will get it every time because nobody wants a sign in their yard that says ABC brokerage. Yep. They want agency. They want the name brands that people actually know deal with stuff that's actually a luxury level. So
cheap is cheap for a reason.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I think a lot of agents, and we started with Keller Williams 18 years ago. I mean, just the kind of thing where like, okay, I just got my license. I need to figure this out and I'm going to go to Keller Williams. The thing that we learned real quick though is there's boutique brokerage, luxury brokerages in Dallas and our market center, just like y'all's, that will get those big listings because they are working for a brand that has been justified, has been put out there extremely well. People kind of know the signs on the yards. You will have a problem going into those listing appointments, even if you're the best salesperson in the world, because you're working for whatever this brokerage is versus whatever this brokerage is. And those kind of situations cannot be solved without being branded and marketing better. And that's just a fact of the market, and that's just a fact of sales. So it was always tough until we figured, okay, we have to make the change, even though we pay in this amount and at this point we cap and it's all free after that. But my business literally went from $20 million a year to $40 million a year. So you don't care about that anymore. You're like, I'm
Absolutely.
selling so much more real estate now, those little splits don't matter anymore. And that's what I think is hard for a lot of the agents that do have like that. They're doing a decent amount. They're like, oh my God, what if they took 10%
have
of
to give up,
whatever it is, or 15% of whatever I'm making? But what they don't realize is they're going to get exponentially amount more business with literally just better branding and working for a better broker.
I think we would all love to do what we do for free, but there is a cost to doing business, right? There's,
Especially in real estate.
I know in Seattle, my team, my office manager, my marketing account manager, they're the best, right? And we pay for that. There's a cost for that. There's a cost for a great location, all these things that make us better. And I say there's a lot of great companies out there for the individual person, right? My company may not be right for them. I think the agency is a company about a growth mindset. If you want to grow your business, this is where you come. You have every tool, every resource, the best network, the best team to do it. But if you're not of that mindset, that other brokerage is probably right for you, right? This is a very energetic company.
Yeah. Right.
You want to be inspired, come here.
I don't remember
You
who
look
said
like
this
you got something
earlier,
to say, Trey.
but someone said on the panel, they were like, this is obviously your biggest investment you're selling. You wouldn't go pick the cheapest brain surgeon to perform your brain surgery.
Yeah.
So why would you pick the cheapest brokerage? Makes sense. Like, it does.
It is actually dealing with hundreds and hundreds, if not millions of dollars that's in the hands of your agent that you're working with. I mean, it's a lot of money. And if that what was that? It wasn't you last night, but I was talking to somebody at the table, and they said that they read an article that said 90% of the deals that fall through is because the two agents couldn't get along.
Ego.
Yeah, it's an
Total
ego thing.
ego.
And you think about that for a second, you're like, that's true. Like, if you can't come to terms on repairs, or if you can't come to terms on whatever the
gotta
issue is
give a
that you're
little
dealing
sometimes.
with, you have to be a in between, like, really for your seller, you're representing them, they're representing buyer, whatever. But between the two agents, they also have to have the meeting of the minds.
Yeah, and that's where we shine.
Right.
I mean, that's where we shine because we're there to make the deal happen. It's not about you. And that's where so many top producers make it always about themselves, but it's not about you, it's about what your client needs.
There's an agent that I've worked with in the past, mega producer, that so hard to work with. It's almost like I cringe when I see the listing with that person, because I'm like, "Ugh."
Every market has one of
Yes, and I just know it's going to be like one of those deals where I'm just like,
Not
I've got to
this
have
person.
these aggressive conversations every time something comes up with somebody. So I'm always like, that hit me pretty strong with that statistic, because I'm like, if somebody's going to have a problem dealing with people, it's not going to happen with the sellers or the buyers that are trying to do this. So I feel sorry for that situation. Like, it could easily be like the agents screwed the deal up. And when you have a professional working on both sides, it's also like a really good personality and easy to work with. And let's make this deal work. And we're doing this together, and let's make it happen. It's a completely different situation than the kind that you're like, I don't even want to make a call to this man or woman.
Yeah.
That happens so often. It's actually pathetic. But when you're working for a seller, let's say, and they've got a multi-million-dollar property, and they're entrusting you to be their representative,
Entrusting is a great
it's
word.
their money.
Right.
It's their decisions. We're just here to facilitate the transaction and to represent them to the best of our ability. Then you get somebody on the other side of the table who's, making it about them,
Right.
their ego, or acting like it's their decision.
Exactly.
Whatever's happening.
That's exactly what I'm talking
Let's
about.
say that deal doesn't go together. 3 months later, you're in a declining market. How much have you cost that person, right? We have got
Happens
to
all the time.
kind of
Yeah.
hold each other accountable and call each other out about
Well, it's not
the
like
ego.
you're just selling someone a pair of shoes or a car. Like, this is a home. This is where they're raising their kids. This is where they're growing their family. This could be their last home. So there
It's
is
an emotional
a level.
decision.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
emotional
It's
decision.
a financial decision.
A
It's an
lifestyle
emotional
decision.
And it's sad that two people that are never going to live in that home can ruin that.
We should have a whole conversation.
We should start
sometime
calling people out. Let's
about,
start
like,
naming them.
calling them out, raising the bar in real estate, making it
love
way
it.
harder to get your
That's
license.
part of my
The
listing
conversations,
presentation.
the conversations that we've had so far, I have not checked off one box of what our
Awesome.
topics are.
Love it. Typical.
know.
Typical realtors.
I know.
Let's just talk about real estate.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get into the spicy stuff. What is the craziest thing you've done?
He loves this
to make a
question.
deal
He's
happen.
always doing this to people.
Oh my God.
It's good
God.
stuff. That's what the people want to know.
Okay, not craziest thing I've done to get a deal closed, but one time we had a listing and it was in the San Juan Islands and nobody was coming to look at it. It had been on the market for quite some time. It was after the market crashed and people were back to buying in the city, but they weren't going out, right? Especially to the islands. And somebody called. I think at the time we had one property listed on Orcas Island and one on San Juan Island. And that one on San Juan was listed Steve Miller, Fly Like an Eagle. It was his house. So this reporter calls from
Fun fact, that was my first concert I ever went to. Continue.
No way.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll speed up.
Fun fact,
Wall
I have no idea
Street
what we're talking
Journal
about.
reporter calls and I answer, hey, we want to do an article on Steve Miller's property. I go, no, you don't. What are you going to say? Fly like an eagle? It's been out there for so long. What you need to do is you need to do a feature on the San Juan Islands of what makes them so magical and how the new healthcare center has really brought people in who wouldn't have bought here before. And anyways, I feed her all this information, send her all these links. And again, this market was dead. Nobody was coming out to the islands. I'm at a listing with my stager and my phone starts blowing up and everybody's like, what did you do? Turn on the TV. And here's a headline all over the Seattle News, Wall Street Journal, the San Juan Islands, the hottest market in the U.S.
Oh.
That attracted Oprah Winfrey, got her attention.
I remember that.
She bought that home.
Wait,
bought
you
Steve
sold a
Miller.
house to Oprah?
Yes, but I
What?
I just sold it for her too. So I just brought her a buyer to buy
Look
it.
at
So
you. Look at you.
that's where
That opens a whole new can of questions.
yeah.
So the lesson of the story is sometimes you have to be the master of your own PR,
True.
right?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on the fact that you sold a home and for Oprah.
Well, you should be talking to this guy because
Well,
He's hit some celebs.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, my life changed because of one celebrity client.
Tell
And
me who it
it's
was.
snowballed into a million other celebrity clients now.
Who was it?
The most famous man in the world,
Bill Gates.
Wait.
Elon Musk.
Michael Jackson.
Oh, you sold Michael Jackson's house
4 times. 4
What?
4 times. We're not talking about Never Neverland, right? Or what was it called?
I think there's just one
Neverland.
never. Yeah.
No, I when I was the manager of a large old luxury brokerage, we got an email in our general inbox saying, "Hey, I live in a castle. I want to get information about this house." I mean, it sounded like the spammiest Nigerian prince email. Like, who says, "Hey, I live in a castle"? Like,
Zar's like, I'm in.
And I was like, okay, I sent it to our top 5 agents at the company, and everybody was like, "Are you stupid? I'm not responding to this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Somebody, please respond." Nobody responded. So I was like, well, somebody's got to respond. So I respond, and I get a reply, and it started an 11-month back and forth pen pal relationship that hardly had anything to do with real estate. Like, literally, it was like, "What'd you do tonight?" I was like, "I worked late, so I went home and watched Housewives and ate a Kit Kat bar." And he was like, "I love Kit Kat." Never asked, "Who are you? What are you doing?" And eventually this person says, "I'll take the house." And I go, "Oh, well, it's still available. And what do I need to do to buy it?" And I said, "Well, you need to wire $500,000 to escrow." And $1 million showed up. And everybody was like, "You're an idiot." All the 60-plus-year-old agents who worked at the company were like, "You're stupid. They're going to ask you for money and your check is going to bounce." I was like, "Well, joke's on them, bitch. I don't have that much money in my account." So, good. And the check cleared. And then I get a phone call saying, "Hey, we're coming into town
sync.
to look at the house we're buying. We would like for you to come meet us at the airport. And the client would like to meet you, and would you mind picking us up?" And I go, "No problem. What's the flight number?" And they're like, "Here's the tail number." And I have
Private
no
jet.
idea what a tail number is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, great. Can you tell me again the flight number?" And they're like, "We already gave you the tail number. Please pay attention." I was like, "Okay, great." write down a bunch more notes, the day, the time, everything. They're like, yeah, so we're going to have a couple black SUVs pick us up, the luggage, blah, blah, blah. But he wants to ride in the car with you. We'll follow you to the house. And I'm like, amazing. What's the flight number again? And they're like, okay, we don't have time for jokes. You do know who the client is? And I go, of course. No idea. And I'm like, of course. And they're like, okay, great. Because I'm an idiot. I'm 20-something years old. I haven't, like, looked up where the money came from or anything. And they're like, well, great. He's very excited to meet you. Please be ready. And I go, okay, so one more. She's like, Zar, you do realize your client who bought the house is Michael Jackson? And I go, yeah, of course. I've known that for many, many months now.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, great. So as soon as I hang up the phone, I Google tail number, and I'm like, oh.
So you
no
were just
wonder they
kikiing
wouldn't
with
give
Michael
me
Jackson via email
for
to
11
Housewives?
months. 11
What?
months.
That's
how
Speaking
long it
about
was going on?
everything. And for 2 years, we never talked about who he was. But when you're Michael Jackson, you don't get mail at home. So when we hit it off, he said, hey, do you mind if I use your address to get my mail? Because, you know, you don't want the UPS driver going like, oh, for Michael. And then tells everybody where the address is. So his mail came to me. So every day, every other day, I would go to the house, drop off his mail, and we became friends. So I threw his kids' birthday parties. I spent Christmas with him and the family.
Damon, why didn't we start with
We
this? What in the
became-
world?
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm like thinking market conditions versus Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Which one should we go for?
No, so Michael and I
What?
became like best of friends. And a couple years into our friendship, he was like, you're poor. And I was like, no.
Everyone's poor compared
I
to you,
make
Michael.
6 figers.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, you're poor. And I was like, I'm 24 years old. I make 6 figures. And he's like, can I help you? And I was like,
Yes.
Please.
I'm not taking a check from you. I was like, I do very well, Michael. I have a G-Wagon and I make 6 figures. And he's like, yeah, you're kind of poor. I was like, okay, well, thanks, you bitch. And he's like, can I do anything to help? I was like, no. I mean, the only thing maybe you can do is refer me clients. So one day he's like, hey, I have this girl who's coming to town to work, and she needs help finding a house. And I'm thinking, oh, it's a nanny, it's a new housekeeper. And I get a call the next day, and it's like, hey, I'm coming to town. It's Britney. And I was like,
Oh no,
Britney?
you're kidding me.
What?
So-
Damon, what the fuck? Did you know
Why are you
this?
saying like I'm
That's
supposed to
his
know all
friend who
this?
he
I didn't know
refers
all
to me.
this. This
That's
is
his
like
friend.
news
So-
to me too.
Then I sell a house to Britney because that's Michael's referrals.
I am sweating.
A
This
few
is
months later, he's like, hey, I have another friend who's coming to town. Would you mind helping her? I go, no, not at all. I get a phone call. Hi, darling. It's Mariah looking for a home in Vegas. I have a residency starting soon. So little by little, because of him, I became the agent to the stars, and all these A-listers became clients. And eventually all the casinos were like, we have a new CEO. His wife is a freaking nightmare. If you can help these people, you can help them. Or we're hiring a new headliner. If you can handle, because the presumption is Michael is high maintenance, Mariah is high maintenance. So they're like, if
Yeah,
you
she
can
was
handle this
real.
brand of crazy and this brand of crazy, this new CEO and his wife are nothing. If you can handle them, bringing in a new headliner to the Coliseum, that's nothing compared to Mariah and Michael. So you take it. And I just became the go-to person for celebrities. And
Holy
he changed
shit.
my life.
So between the
What?
two of you, y'all have worked
You're
with some of
welcome,
the
babe.
most prestigious clients on the planet. Congratulations.
Well, I say
I
I
am in
only
shock.
open doors for a living and sell a little dirt sometimes. But
Yeah.
that's the reality of it. I
Wait.
just open doors.
What was Michael's email? Was it like a Gmail?
It was an AOL. Thank
Oh.
you.
Oh my
Yeah, it
gosh,
was an
AOL.
Wow.
Yeah, there's still people using that. I literally got one not too long ago that was like at AOL. I'm like, what?
I still have my AOL email from when I started selling real estate. And I have one of my assistants check it about once a week because I do have some 80-plus-year-old clients who once in a blue moon will send me an email there. And I'm like, thank God I've never removed it.
Yeah.
And I remember I have it because once a month it shows up on my credit card bill because I'm that idiot that still pays for it. It's like
You gotta pay for
$2.99 a month or
email,
something.
yeah.
No, there's a free version. I just don't know why I have the paid
You're
premium
like, I'm just
membership,
gonna let
but I
this
do.
$2.99 ride.
I
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Michael sent his mail there. That's why.
And it's
Oh.
somewhere in there saved. But yeah, it's real estate czar at AOL.com.
I love it.
That was my savvy 18-year-old marketing brain.
So you really just took a chance responding to this person for 11 months, and it turned out to be
Oh, yeah.
Michael.
And I was
Wow.
99% convinced it was
Zar,
Like a Saudi Arabian
didn't
prince.
other people at that time pass up on the lead because they thought it was
Everybody
just bullshit?
at
Five
my
people, he
brokerage
said.
passed up
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
and they all made fun of me. And even when they're like, "Okay, we're sending a wire," they're like,
Sure.
"Please." They're like,
Yeah.
"That wire's gonna bounce back so fast," or they're
Yeah.
gonna ask you for gift cards. And I was like, "Good luck."
Those
I'm
poor
broke.
Nigerian princes, man. Nobody just really gives them the time of day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm broke. Michael said so.
Damn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what was the reaction when your colleagues that passed up on all this found out who you sold the house to?
I didn't tell them for like 2 years. I kept my mouth shut about Michael
You're like,
for
no,
2
that,
years,
that
which
thing
is
never
what
worked out.
made us bond. I mean, that was the bond. I kept
Wow.
the secret for 2 years, and until he thought I was poor, like living in a cardboard box, and he's like, "Let me help you." That's when he was like, "Well, you can leverage my name and let me send you referrals." And I was like, "Oh, okay,
That's super nice of him, actually.
yeah,
I am in awe.
yeah."
Well, that is a great way to end this segment because we are out of time. So thank you so much for attending, you guys. It's been amazing. Definitely keep in touch. Thank you so much for coming.
you, guys.
Thank you for sitting here with us. And that is it.
Damon, where
No,
can people
Trey,
follow
it's
you on
over.
social
Trey, it's
media?
over.
Where can they follow you?
We've got theagency.dallas for Instagram, and we have the agencydallastx.com.
Yep.
Don't we have a big party to get to?
Yeah,
We
do have
do.
a party.
Yep. Where can everyone follow you guys on
Off to the
social?
rustic.
At the Jen Cameron. So original.
The Jen Cameron. I love it.
I'm easy. It's
The
Zar,
Zar.
Zar, and my last name Zanganeh. Zar Zanganeh.
Or you can find them on AOL.
Yeah.
Or AOL. All right, guys. Thank you.